So let's go into the scriptures now. All right. Drop this. All right. Let's start in Deuteronomy. Okay, because it's a reason why it's like that. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Okay? Alright? And who it will call Lord, alright? His name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. And who you really call Jesus Christ, his name is Yahweh Shai. Okay? Go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. It says, "Yea, all Israel have transgressed the law." Okay? Now, what is transgression? The law is. Get 1 John. Alright, 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. It says, "Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law." Okay? And the law was given to the Israelites. Okay? Alright, Leviticus 26:46. It says, "These are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses." Okay? So the laws, alright, was given to Israel and they transgressed, which is sin. Okay? And it says if you break these laws, statutes, and commandments, curse is going to come on you. Okay? Daniel 9 and 11 says, "Yea, all Israel," so all the tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel, which consist of you Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans, "have transgressed thy laws," the laws of the Heavenly Father, "even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse," alright, what we reading from, "the curse is poured upon us," alright, upon Israel, "and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him." Alright, and he have confirmed his word. Alright, that's right. So what it means by the Lord confirmed his word, meaning that those curses, alright, which are written in the law of Moses, which consists of the first 5 books of the Bible, Genesis to Deuteronomy, it was prophesied in Deuteronomy chapter 28, which we reading from, that if Israel transgressed the law or sinned or broke the commandments, alright, that the Heavenly Father gave them, alright, that he was going to place curses on them. Okay? And we just read in Daniel's that Daniel, which this is a prayer that he praying to the Heavenly Father, he said that all Israel transgressed the law. So the curse is poured upon us. Okay? Because we have sinned. And it says, verse 12, Daniel's 9 and 12, "And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil." Okay? "For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem." Alright, I'll keep reading. It says, "As it is written in the law of Moses, all these evil is come upon us, yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand the truth. Therefore have the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us, for the Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice." Alright? So because Israel continually rebelled against the Heavenly Father, even unto this day, because you got the men of the Lord that go out there every week, alright, that put up lessons on YouTube, all right, that be on the highways and byways teaching, all right, prophesying, revealing these things to Jake with the statistics, the facts, and Jake still don't get it. Why is that? Because the Lord, he blinded 2/3, all right, because he want them to be destroyed, okay? But the only people that's gonna get this is the 1/3, and that's the elect of Israel, okay? All right. So we just backing up that because Israel went off, the Lord, he watched for their for evil and put curses on them. All right, and them being in this poor state is part of the curses. All right. Okay. Leviticus chapter 26 verse 14. All right. It says, "But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhors my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye will break my covenant," okay, which Jake did. All right, let's go back to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, which his name is Yahweh, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Okay, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Okay, and the city is talking about America. Okay, and the field is representing the world, because wherever Jake is at, these curses is on them. Okay, and they gonna be cursed here in America, and they gonna be cursed in the world wherever they scattered at, because you got a lot of those Latinos and native, well, yeah, Latinos and Negros, alright, that try to come from different parts of the world, try to come to America thinking they gonna make it. Okay, and what happened? They still catching hell. They catch even more hell over here. Alright, okay. It says, "Cursed shall be thy basket in thy store," referring to what? Your money. Okay. Alright. Verse 19. It says, "Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out." Alright. Meaning what? Once you exit the womb, you catching hell, man. Okay. Because you got curses on you. Alright. Gonna prove that proves that you Israelite. Alright, Deuteronomy 28:45, it says, "Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee until thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed." Alright, seed meaning what? Your offspring, your children. Alright, and that's a cut. Okay, because you still got these simple ass niggas out here that be hella carnal, that think every person that look like a Negro or look like a Latino or Native American, alright, that they're Israelites. Okay, like for in case what's that piece of shit name? Zimmerman. Okay, he's a Edomite. Okay, he's a he's a so-called Jewish person, which are the Amalekites, but the Amalekites are from the nation of Esau. They're the head of the nation of Esau. Okay, or the Edomites, which are the Caucasian race. He's an Edomite, even though he looked like a Hispanic, and them curses didn't fall on him. Okay, it only fell on the people whose forefathers go back to the Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans, alright, which are the children of Israel, alright, through your father, because he has the seed, not the woman. Okay, So these curses fell on them, all right, and they're supposed to be on them for a sign and a wonder, okay. 2nd Ezra 9:5, it says, "For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, the end is manifest." Okay. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and ending and effects and signs. Okay. So when these things was happening, it was powerful because a lot of jakes, they really thought they was going, they made it until the recession hit, and then who suffered it the most? The Negros and the Latinos, okay, or the blacks and Hispanics, which Native Americans is in that category of the Hispanics. All right, so the Israelites, they suffered it, okay, and their children gonna suffer it, okay. No matter if they try to make it here in America or they go say, well, we gonna move back to, we gonna move to another continent or to a different state, you still gonna catch hell, okay. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 47, it says, "Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things," because it's the Heavenly Father that give you everything, okay, the clothes that you wear, the house you live in, the food you eat, okay, that's all given to you by the Heavenly Father, okay. If he don't want you to eat and he wants you to die of famine, you're gonna die of famine, okay. It's that simple. If he wants you to have some money, he wants you to have a job, he wants you to have a roof over your head, he'll give it to you, okay. And when you read the history, the Lord, he blessed Israel, okay. They had everything, but what happened? They start smelling themselves like Jake tend to do whenever he get a lot of stuff at one time, and then they start rebelling, and they basically said, well, forget you, we ain't gonna deal with the Heavenly Father anymore, we're gonna do our own thing. And that's why we got curses on us today. All right, that's why Israel's in a low state, okay. All right, because they didn't service. It says, "Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, okay, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee." Okay. And who are our enemies? The other nations. Okay. That Nehemiah real quick. The heathen. Alright. Alright. Nehemiah 5:9. "Also I said, it is not good that ye do. Are ye not to walk in the fear of our God, because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies?" Okay. And yes, if you haven't figured it out yet, the so-called white man is your enemy. And you have to go to him for one of all things. Okay? For one of all things, you got to go to him. Alright? If you're hungry, you got to go to him. If you're thirsty, you got to go to him. If you need clothes, you got to go to him. Alright? And you jakes that think you own businesses here in America because you think you signed a loan and you got a so-called white man gave you privileges, he can easily take that away from you, okay? So you still have to go to the so-called white man, okay? And he's your enemy for one of all things, okay? Like the scriptures say. All right, verse 29, real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 29. Alright, just to prove that point. Alright, because you're not set up to make it here in America. Okay, it says, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 29, "And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Okay?